Hello class, today we are going to be learning about the order of operations. What is it and when is it used? So this is a math concept that is it it's a sequence in which we solve equations. And it's used when more than one operation is given in an equation. So our operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And the order of operations tells us in which order we need to solve an equation. That way everyone finds the right answer. If this did not exist, everyone would come up with different answers, and so that is why we have to use this. It's known as PEMDAS, and this is what they all stand for. So we have parentheses, exponents, and then we go into our operations: multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. As you can see here in the image, it has the P and the E in different colors, and then the M and the D are in the same color, and the A and the S are in the same color. So because these operations are opposite of each other, they're kind of partners. So they stay in the same color because we use them at the same time. And I'll go more into that in a little bit. Now you may say to yourself, PEMDAS, how do I remember that? PEMDAS, how do I remember that? And that's where we come to our good Aunt Sally. This is a little saying that helps most people remember PEMDAS and in what order we have to do our operation. So it says, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And if you say that, most people will know what you're talking about. This is a well-known little saying here, and many people use it to remember it. So if you line them up, you can see the P and the P, and this is how you'll remember everything, as long as you remember that parentheses and exponents are really the hardest. These are just your normal operations that you've been using since elementary school. Now, I would like to go into a first example just so you can have a hands-on understanding as to what I mean about order of operations. So as you can see, we have multiple operations here. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and then addition again. You may not solve this problem from going left to right. You have to use PEMDAS. So what I do is, and I suggest you all do, is put PEMDAS in the top corner of your paper when you're trying to solve an equation with multiple operations. This will help you remember the order in which you have to do things, because again, you may not go from left to right to solve this equation. Now, you just have to go through each one of these until you've solved every portion of this and you get an answer. So the first thing I'm going to ask myself is there any parentheses in this equation? And there's not. So we can automatically cross off parentheses and exponents because there's neither of those in this equation. Now I say, is there multiplication or division? Because these go together. So if there's either one, they go together, they're partners. We have a multiplication problem, and that is right here. 1 times 6. So as you can see, I segregated the numbers that are on either side of this multiplication sign. So we will solve that. 1 times 6 is 6, and we'll replace it inside the equation, and you just bring everything else down. The 5 comes down, the signs come down, everything else comes down. From there, we have solved multiplication and division. Now we have addition and subtraction. As you can see in this equation that's left here, there's both addition and subtraction. Because they are partners and it's addition or subtraction and they're in the same color group, now you may solve the problem from left to right. So what happens is we do 5 plus 3, which is 8, minus 6, which is 2, plus 8, which is 10. And then therefore you have now solved your addition and subtraction, and you have completed PEMDAS because you have crossed off everything here. Now to go to a little bit more difficult example, we have again multiplication, addition, and subtraction. However, we've added some parentheses, so we have to take that into account. Again, you have to remember that you may not solve this problem from left to right. Again, write PEMDAS in the top corner of your paper. This will help you make sure that you do not skip any steps. P stands for parentheses, and as you can see, we have parentheses here. Although inside the parentheses is subtraction, and that's way at the end, you must solve the parentheses first because P is at the beginning of PEMDAS. 11 minus 7 is 4. And so you take that and you bring the rest of the equation down. So you can see I took the 5 times 5 and I brought everything down and I just changed the parentheses to 4. I have now solved for parentheses and there are no exponents. So we can move on from there. Now we have multiplication and division. I have multiplication here. 5 times 5 is 25, so I will replace that portion of this equation and bring it down here and bring the rest of the equation straight down. You just copy it. Next, I have addition and subtraction, and that addition is all that's left, so you may solve from left to right. 25 plus 10 is 35, plus 4 is 39. And then you may cross off addition and subtraction up here, and you can see you completed PEMDAS and your equation should be solved. I hope that gives you an understanding of PEMDAS and what you need to do for order of operations. As long as you remember not to solve the problem from left to right, and you remember your Dear Aunt Sally, you should be successful in completing these. I would like you to complete this equation on your own and bring it into class tomorrow, and that is where we will start our day and then moving on into centers to complete understanding inside the classroom. Good luck, class, and I will see you tomorrow.